But if you ever do get a chance to listen to some of these, they are, in a way, very refreshing. My favorite is Christopher Hogwood's The Messiah. So I never realized this till I heard his recording, and I thought, well, I only hear like 12 people singing, or it was something like 3 people per part or something. And the orchestra seemed really just like 12 instruments or something. And then I looked at the score. That's exactly what it's scored for. It's this tiny little, it's timpani, trumpet, strings, violin, viola, cello, two violin, viola, cello. I don't think it has a bass in it. And there are probably 2 or 3 from each part. So it's like 12 to 18 people in the quote-unquote orchestra, and maybe 12 to 18 people singing. But what really got me was how much I liked it so much better. Because all these recordings we hear, it's arranged for full orchestra. They added all this harmony. And like everybody else, I did it with like a 120-piece chorus. You know, it was, hallelujah. But it's so intimate, the way he actually did it. It's just lighter, and it works so much better. Then you know, for unto us a child is born. For unto us a child is born. So I remember having a horrible 3 times, horrible time with that, because it's got all those melisma. Once a child is born. But with like 50 people in a section, it was terrible. But with 2 or 3 people, it was so nice to hear a recording. So anyway, they do it with these big recordings.
So he does this just sort of homage to
No,
Bach?
it's a historical. He's a Bach expert, and he's an expert on original instruments. So it's a kind of a historical. He's trying to say, you know, we've changed a lot of these things. And the Messiah did not have trombones. It didn't even have flutes. Didn't have clarinets. Didn't have horns. It was just 2 trumpets and timpani with strings. So he's just trying to say, you know, this is the way it sounded to Handel's audience. And I don't know, sometimes they will do period performances up with pianos and harpsichords. So I went to Gene Williams' junior recital at Sac State, and I noticed all these flyers for this Boisendorfer piano recital. Somebody donated this antique Boisendorfer piano, and so to christen it, they had a special recital. So it's this big old piano that's been restored or something and donated. So they were having a period piece. Everybody had to learn pieces from that time to play. Cool. And San Francisco State University has, it's funny, they have a harpsichord and a piano from Haydn's day. And the piano's smaller than the harpsichord. They both look like grands, except the piano to me looked like it was this tiny little thing. And they said, no, that's a piano at the time of Haydn. And this harpsichord, they said, remember, the harpsichord was the instrument up to the late Baroque. So when Haydn got started, harpsichord was like the big thing, and piano was the new kid. So they have a big ornate harpsichord. It's big, almost as big as the baby grand we used to have here.
Wow.
So when you look at the two together, you think the harpsichord is the piano and vice versa. But the piano, Haydn didn't have that big, loud sound that's now. That was late 1800s that came about. The action and the bigger metal frame with the thicker strings. So it was a rather light sound. So when you hear Haydn and Mozart piano, they're very light usually. If you think of Mozart piano, so actually nowadays on a new piano, you have to kind of fight to get that lightness. The piano wants to be a lot louder. But if you get a chance, if you look at the paper, sometimes they'll even have some period stuff around. I imagine Mondavi probably has some stuff like that too. Okay, so you can read this. Alto clef. Do you remember how to read alto clef? Middle line is C. So the first note there is a D. if you were singing it, if you were to cover up the clef and the key, so the first two notes are a D up to an F. So the way you determine what key and clef you'd use would be, what would that be in the, what solfege would that be in the key of E flat, G2 now? Mi to so. So cover up the clef and the key. So if that first note is mi and the second one is so, in a treble clef, what key signatures could you imagine to have that come out mi so? First two.
A major or minor.
Which?
A major or minor.
It'd have to be A major, because A minor would be me. So,
Well, yeah.
so A major, but you could also do A flat major, if you like flats better. But they both come out mi up to so. So you can think of a treble clef in the key of A major or the key of A flat major. What about bass clef? That would be a good one. Except if you're an alto. Probably not used to reading bass clef, but easy. You have three choices for this one.
C major.
C major, yeah. So so would be, if you think bass clef, that would be an E to a G. So you could also do it in C flat major and C sharp major. But then you'd just be showing off. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? All right, then the tenor clef for the tenors. So the second line from the top is C. That means the first two notes of the tenor line are B flat up to D. So now cover up the clef and the key. Do to mi.
E flat.
If you're in bass clef, it would be E flat major or E major. Either one would work. What about treble clef?
A again.
Not A. Do to mi, not mi to so.
C.
C.
C, yeah. So imagine a treble clef, C major. Do, mi, re, do, re, mi, re, do. See how easy that became? If you're an instrument playing notes, though, pretty much got to read the notes. So you could imagine down a step, yeah, staying in the key B flat, treble clef. You could think the note down a step. Try that. This is the tenor, so the first two notes are B flat, D. You have to imagine it's down on it. If it's on a space, imagine down to the next line. If it's on the line, down to the next space. But E's are flat and B's are flat. Starts out B flat, D. Try this. 1, 2, 3. B flat, D, C, B flat, B flat, C, D, C, B flat, B flat, A, B flat, C, B, C, B flat, B flat, A, B flat. Does it make the bass clef seem easy now? You don't have to do any gymnastics to try to figure out what it is. Any questions about this? There's a Dover edition that publishes, I think, 280 some, 281 or 283 of the Bach chorales, and they're all in the original clefs. It's unedited. When I was working on my doctorate, the ear training teacher made us buy that book, and we had to sing in all the different clefs that Bach used to show us how little we knew about singing. He had all these cocky people who were like, yeah, I know, and I'm in a doctorate, and he gave us this book, and we were all going, oh, is that a D or an E? Worked pretty good. Any questions about that one? Okay, here's an interesting one. Let me find it.
Oh, it continues on the back.
Let's skip to page 244. At the bottom of the page. Beethoven. 3 equalized before trombone. Number 3.